And welcome back to another Medieval Dynasty video, everyone. This video we're going to talk about a guide for your market stalls. How to really increase the effectiveness of the market stall. Now, first off, the market stall allows you to directly sell items that are in your food storage or resource storage. You cannot sell items from your personal inventory unless you put those items in the respective storages that I just mentioned. Now, what does a market stall actually allow you to do? Well, let's take a look. Actually, pretty cool to have these in the game. Now, it does take one employee, and obviously it does use up one building slot. But when you come to the market stall, first thing you're going to find here, now I have this one set to resources. This will sell from the resource storage, as you can clearly see. All the items that go in your resource storage in the correlating area where you have that resource storage are going to be available here to sell. And the same if you have a food stall. And of course, you can change the goods type for any particular market stall that you have simply by hitting C, or just click on the button, whether you're using a controller or a keyboard and mouse like I am. And these are what you can choose between: tools, clothing, resources, food, and herbs. So you want to pay attention to exactly what you are trying to sell. Now, another important thing to pay attention to is managing the market stall. Basically, so you don't have to sit there and babysit it. But this is going to require you to have to pay attention to the products that you are selling. How many of those products are you producing in one day versus how many of those products you want to sell in one day? On the market stall, these columns right here, this is how many items you're going to sell in each day. This is how much coin you will receive in return for those items selling each day. Now, unless you have a massive bulk of items, like I'm starting to kind of stockpile, like, quite a few logs, this and that. And we all know what happens if you run overweight in your storage units, whether it's food or resource storage. You don't want that to happen. It's going to cause you some problems. So the best thing to do is to actually go to the particular item that you want to sell. And you need to figure out, okay, how much of that item do you want to leave available for you to use or for your workers to use for production of different items? And then how much is going to be left over per day that you can effectively sell? That way you can avoid your resource storage or food storage from filling up unnecessarily. Now, for this example, I'm going to go ahead and we're just going to look at the sheep, at the folds, to give you an idea. Now, both of my folds are strictly set to wool production. And you can see here that we are producing about 116 units of wool per day from this one fold. Keep in mind, if you have more than one of the same type of production unit, you're going to want to make sure you check this out. So I have two folds. Each fold is doing 116 units a day. So you could say, okay, we have 230 wool. Just a straight number to understand, 230 wool a day. Okay, Now, let's say at the sewing shack, you're obviously using the wool to make some wool thread, to make some wool fabric. All of them have uses for different things. And of course, making clothing at the same time. So, how much of that 230 wool per day do you need? Okay, let's say, well, I need 130 of that wool per day. So, what I'm going to do at that point is come back to the resource stall, and I'm going to come down to wool, and I'm going to go ahead and put the intensity on this. Now, here, just for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and turn down one of these so I can show you what I'm talking about. So now we said we are going to keep about 130 wool a day out of the 230. So that means I want to sell basically about 100 wool per day. So what is that intensity going to be in percentages? Let's see here. Okay, so right there we have about 65, we got 70, 81, 86, 92, 97, 103. So we want to set the cell intensity, say, at 18 to 19%. That way we keep everything balanced out. We still have our stock of wool available for the sewing shack or for our own personal use to take if you want to go and do your own sewing. And also keep in mind, this applies to any of the items. But I highly urge you to check out each individual item and see what your production level is set at per day. Now, with your farming related stuff, that's kind of a different story because obviously crops are seasonal. Now, you can do the math and figure out exactly how much you need for fertilizer for all your fields every season, but keep in mind, not every field is going to happen during every season. So that can be a little more complex, but you can do the math by simply looking at your barn and seeing the amount per day that you're producing as far as the actual grains go, or the flax stalk, things like that. You guys understand what I'm saying. But I urge you to go and check out everything and see what the production is per day. Like the fishing hut, for example. I'm only worrying about pike right now because I'm actually working these numbers out and kind of setting up some experiments to see what seems to be most effective. So with this, I have one fishing hut. I have just under 50 pike per day coming in. So obviously, I don't want to have my cell intensity higher than 50 units a day, or else you're going to be coming back having to micromanage the stall because it says that you're out of product, there's no more product to sell. But this will actually help you maximize your profits without accidentally, say, draining some of the resources totally out of your resource storage or food storage. I actually have had that happen before. I was just massively selling a bunch of different grains, and then suddenly I didn't have what I needed to plant my fields when the season came available to plant those fields because I got too occupied doing some other activities in the game. So make sure you take the time, pay attention to the output level coming from each product, where it is being produced, and then use that to correlate how many items per day you want to sell at your market stall, depending on what your desired goods type is. So other than that, if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And I will see you on the next Medieval Dynasty video. You guys keep safe out there. and peace.